So, what got you into coaching, and what impact has coaching had on your life?
Uh, I can't, getting into coaching was really an accident.
Hmm.
Somebody invited me to help out with the team, their youth basketball team, recreational basketball, and that was my first entrance into coaching. And I was terrible at first and didn't want to ever do it again because I lost every game. I think I won one game, but you know, definitely felt like I did a horrible job and wasn't any good at it, and but I was invited back.
Mm.
You know, they said I had a good rapport with the players, and the families enjoyed me, and uh, so I went back, and that was kind of what got me into coaching, and it really impacted my life because at that time I was working in entertainment marketing, and I was definitely drinking way more than I should, being in the entertainment world, flying around, driving around the United States, flying around the U.S. And once I started working with the kids, uh, now you can't show up
Hmm.
with alcohol in your breath. You can't show up drunk
Yeah.
or tipsy or anything
Yeah.
like that. And so it really changed my life in the manner that I just became more aware of these things and what I was doing.
Okay. And then I know you said one time you had plans of going to FSU. How was it God's plan not to go there, and how are you better for it?
Um, uh, that was definitely my goal as a child. I grew up an FSU fan and played football and just knew I was going there, especially because they recruited a lot of players from my school at that time. They were in front of me, so I was like, okay, I'm going to be the next one in line. And it didn't work out. And truthfully, it turned out to be the better thing for me. Uh, it helped. I wasn't ready. I wasn't mature. You know, I was just a good athlete, smart student, but not mature at all. And to still do something with myself, I joined the military, and that helped me to mature in the way that I needed to, and started to give me the tools that I need to be a better man.
Okay.
Um, just grow into manhood.
All right. Well, how long have you? Well, before I go to the next question, I know Romans 8:28. That's a big verse for you.
Yes.
Like, how do you feel like God God used that you didn't go to FSU, and how did He work all things together for good?
Well, that's it. I didn't see it until later in life and really understand it. Because even through, yes, the military helped me, and I still have my downfalls and my slippages here, from being injured in the military to at one point being homeless,
Mm-hmm.
and I even lost my home, you
Mm.
know, and to all of it helped me to to just grow in a different way.
Mm.
And so, as I was really, growing my relationship with the Lord, Romans 8:28 stood out. It just jumped out in the Bible to me.
Mm-hmm.
All things, which made me realize that all things. It didn't say, the good things. It didn't say the bad things. It says all things. So even,
Mm-hmm.
the good, the bad, things that you think don't matter, all things work for good. Those that love the Lord and are called according to His purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start to live for the Lord, and you realize that these things happen to help to grow you, and it really grew me in so many ways, and that to understand that all things is that word all is such a powerful word.
Mm-hmm.
It It's such a powerful word. It's one of the most powerful words because you can't take anything out. That means you can't exclude just the things you like. You can't exclude just the things that
Right.
that make you comfortable.
Right.
You know, from a car accident to an injury to to winning $1 million to getting
Yeah.
married to having kids to getting divorced. Any of those things you go through. If you truly love the Lord, called according to His purpose, it will work for your good and it will lead you to where you will benefit so much more.
Mm.
And and it's to me, it's like when you do that, so many people are turned away from Christ because they say, "Oh, we got to die to get to heaven." But I realize that we are to bring heaven here.
Mm.
You know, we are to do our best, and it's not the idea of the streets of gold and the never gets dark type of heaven. It's the heavenly living
Mm.
to where hey, it's good.
Yeah.
It really is good.
Right. Right. Yeah.
In that heavenly living, and all of a sudden you realize I have enough.
Mm. Jesus is enough.
Jesus is enough. I have enough.
Right.
When you say, okay, I don't have, $10 to put in my gas tank, but you have enough gas.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
Right.
When you say, okay, and you learn, I realized that, from the things that I saw as disappointments, failed relationships or not getting that job or, say even getting injured or getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It strengthened me in so many ways.
Okay.
And I realized that Jesus is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I have everything and I have heaven on earth.
Yes.
Not the heaven that there will be no pain and there will be, it's heaven
In your
inside.
mind, in your per soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have that heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there's frustration here, but you get frustrated and you talk to the Lord and the Lord's like, hey, I tell you all things.
Yeah.
And you say, yes, God, you did. You did.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so Romans 8:28 through 29, that is my life verse.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. And then, how long have you been coaching for?
Oh, well, ever since I stumbled into it, like I said,
Right.
it's now been 10 years, 11 years.
Wow.
No, this year makes 12 years.
Wow.
12 years I've been coaching.
Wow.
I started out in recreational basketball. And that's a whole trip of you're coaching kids that can't dribble
Yeah.
once. Don't know anything about basketball.
Right.
And you have to find a way to encourage them. Find a way to parents put their kids in those just to have something to do.
Right.
And then so I did that first, and then somebody invited me to coach football.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I ain't doing that because I still have my entertainment company.
Okay.
So I have my marketing company. So I was like, no, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
But then, I finally agreed
Mm-hmm.
and went over to that and started giving my time to football and
Mm-hmm.
that commitment. And I was coaching Little League football, and in the process, I was still coaching basketball.
Mm.
And then I met a gentleman that he said I should probably, I'm wasting my time at recreational basketball, and I started coaching travel basketball, and and people started paying me
Mm-hmm.
to coach basketball, and then like I said, coach Little League football, and somebody came and offered me a job.
Wow.
It was like I was doing things for free because I was enjoying it and working with the kids,
Yeah.
and money found me.
Mm.
And that's that. Again, all things.
Yeah. Yeah.
All things, and God made it enough, and God was like,
Yeah.
hey, don't worry about it. You be all right.
Yeah, I see that in my life too, where things like I'll see the verse, I'll see a thing that says 828 or something like that, and it'll
Hmm.
remind me of it, and then and you almost always it works out, you know.
Right.
So it's crazy how like God works and everything.
Hmm.
And then what made you want to join FCA? What impact has that had on you?
But joining FCA was very funny. Um, my childhood friend, a guy that I've known for almost 30 years now, uh, he joined FCA first. Desmond Cook.
Okay.
Um, he was first a member of FCA, and he was doing a lot of things with FCA, and he asked me to just help him uh, with a huddle. And my help at that time, he just asked me to go and pick up the pizzas.
Okay.
You know, I was like, okay, I could do that.
Yeah.
Because he was running behind, so I went and grabbed
Yeah.
the pizzas.
Okay.
Dropped him off at the school and saw the huddle that he was leading.
Mm-hmm.
It was Forest Glen Middle School,
Okay.
and so I saw the huddle he was leading, and sat through it and was really touched again by the kids.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Being in there and getting the word, and I knew that was something that I would like to be a part of.
Mm.
And so I became more active, and I you know started as a volunteer,
Yeah.
and volunteer for several years, and I didn't want to fully commit because I was coaching
Mm-hmm.
full time. Had a young son,
Right.
and so it was like, how do I commit myself more time,
Mm.
more time? So I didn't want to really come on full time,
Mm-hmm.
to do it. I was like, well, I don't want to take away and lose from what I'm doing,
Right.
And again, God just continued to provide,
Mm.
just led me to a place where, you know, 'cause I started just doing more and more FCA things.
Mm.
It's like, well, still had time for this.
Yeah.
I didn't miss out on that,
Mm.
and I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And just off the invitation, whether it's a come to go to a come see or go to a fundraiser or help with a huddle,
Right.
you know, you know, or even to pick up food or supplies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Kind of doing everything anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
You as well.
yeah, you're doing everything, Andrew. Why?
Why not commit?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like, well, all right, Lord. Sometimes I'm a little slow on the uptake.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's that old. I call myself some. I tell my players I'm like a old Chevy. You gotta warm it up in the yard.
Yeah.
You can't just turn the key and start driving.
Yeah.
But I will get it. I will get it eventually. So,
All right. So I don't know if you already answered this, but how do you implement FCA into your coaching?
Um, with the FCA, and I'm fortunate enough that I'm coaching at Calvary Christian Academy.
Right.
So we do a lot of things that are, we coach from a biblical standpoint,
Right.
for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
but the FCA automatically ties into it at Calvary. So majority of my coaching is that, but now
Okay.
I've been, and like I said, God lines everything up
Yeah.
because I just recently was granted the opportunity to be, one of the directors for youth basketball in the city of Pompano.
Oh wow.
So I'll be interacting there, and FCA is expanding to out of schools into club.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's like
Wow.
Once again, God's lining the path,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
where I can take FCA into this club
Yeah.
and and use those tools.
It's just, yeah, it's funny how God works, where it'll be like, like if it's meant to be, it's gonna happen. Like if
Yes,
it's His will, nothing's gonna stop that.
yes,
And I've seen it in my life too, where it's like it's really amazing, like how it works and everything. But so my next question: who inspires you the most and why?
um, no, this that's a good question. Very good question. When I read it, I was looking at it thinking like, wow. Right. Because it's funny because if you ask me next week, it might be a different answer.
Yeah.
But currently, uh, right now, it is my son.
Wow. Okay.
It is my son, Aiden.
Okay.
He inspires me so much because I myself am teaching him a lot of the things that I didn't know,
Right.
and helping him to understand the love of the Lord.
Mm.
And when I watch him, because he played football for the first time last year himself,
Uh huh.
and when I watch how he handles it based on what he's learned,
Yeah.
you know, uh, not getting the playing time that he wants, but understanding that God got it,
Yeah.
that he has to walk, because he's playing with kids, that's been playing for 3 years. So developmentally in the game, they're further ahead than him.
Okay.
But he he has such a spirit in him of joy and reverence, and knowing that God got it. And like I said, I teach him, and we do our bedtime Bible study and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really God doing the work in him, because he wants to do it. We were at a basketball game the other night, Saturday night, and uh, second got to halftime, and actually this happened twice, two separate occasions on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me. He said, "Daddy, we have church in the morning."
Wow.
So, he was really willing to leave the game, even though he's enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to get to bed so we can get up for church.
Mm.
And to see that
Yeah.
in an 8-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
how can I not?
Yeah. Right.
Where I can move on my own. He still has to rely on other people to move. He can't get up and go on his own.
Right.
He still has to, mom has to take him, dad has to take him,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere he goes. But for him to be like, hey, dad.
Mm-hmm.
And we listened to the game on the way home in the car,
Mm.
listening to it on the radio. And it was just so, it is inspirational when I look at that. Like I said, you ask me this question again next week, it may be another answer,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been fortunate to talk to different people and
Inspire you.
right
Yeah.
at different times. But right now, and because that's so fresh, it just happened Saturday.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't I not?
Yeah.
How can I lose focus when an 8-year-old that can't focus on anything?
Like focus on the Bible and God and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So who am I? I
Yeah.
actually know better.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yep. And then, I already asked that. So, who's your favorite Christian athlete or coach and why?
Oh, There's two.
Okay.
I could give an athlete, and well, he's now a coach and coach. Definitely Tony Dungy,
Okay.
Coach Tony Dungy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
you know, he never, even though he was passed over for so many years for a head coaching job, he never turned away from his ways to get that position. You know, I remember hearing him speak, and he said, "Yes, I was passed over several times because they were saying I was not fiery enough.
Hmm.
You know, how can someone that's not cussing and yelling at the players and inspire a team to be great?"
Right. He
And
he led by leadership.
yes,
Yeah.
and became a Super Bowl champion because of it.
Right.
And then the other one is Deion Sanders.
Hmm.
And although he does not necessarily speak as much on his faith
Tony Dungy.
as Tony Dungy does, Coach Prime, as he's known now, you know, will never hesitate to say God. And you know, when I think about Coach Prime and when he was my favorite player, so I kind of modeled my game after when I played. And you know, when I look at his life and at the time when he was thinking about suicide, when he's at the prime of his life, and money coming in and this, that, and the other, and try to kill himself. And that's when he realized, all this is nothing.
Yeah. This doesn't mean it's all chasing the wind.
Right.
it's all
Right.
it's all like in Ecclesiastes. It's all meaningless and without God,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what he learned, and ever since then, like his life has been, so much more, and the impact he's having on a lot of things. You know, his attitude towards things, and a lot of people say will look at him and say, well, he's braggadocious or he's. And I don't look at it as that. I see the
Confidence.
and the belief.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a belief
Yeah.
in what you're doing.
Right. He's confident in his abilities.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, that could sometimes come across as arrogance or pride.
Right.
But
Right.
if you prepare and you have the faith and you're humble enough to learn, and even though you have a high belief, you still are willing to learn.
Yeah.
And that's something that I look at him and I'm like, wow. And once he truly accepted Christ and became that public, being able to speak about it publicly, openly,
Right.
and you see how it didn't change him.
Right. No, it didn't change him.
He
No.
still walked the same way,
Right.
but now it's changed. It's changed him
Yeah.
without changing him.
Right. Right.
And that's what and that's what a lot of people fail to realize about faith in the Lord. Like they think I have to change.
Right.
God changes you.
Yeah. Yeah.
God changes you. So between Coach Dungy and Coach Prime, Deion Primetime Sanders, he's they're special men. They're special men, and they that faith and that helps them. Tony Dungy is a member of FCA.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he is.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he is.
Wow. That doesn't surprise me too much, but
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I could just ask you these last couple of questions. What motivates you every day and why?
Every day is for me to be a better me.
Okay,
Um,
that's a good.
you know, I wake up and I say, well, and I agree with a lot of people. I say, well, hey, I'm still here, so guys, give me another chance.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
You're still breathing,
right?
so yeah,
You give me another chance,
yeah.
and I just want, my motivation to be a better me.
You want to live
To
like every day's your last.
right,
Like you never
me,
know when you're gonna go.
right. Make it count.
Yeah.
Make it count. Make it count for something. And one of my greatest motivations is just dealing with the people that I deal with.
Hmm.
Be it my wife, my sons, uh, the kids that I coach.
Hmm.
They're all my sons
Hmm.
in my estimation. The families, and to impact them in a way that they see the Lord. They see
Right.
the God in me.
Right.
A lot of people always say, I hear so much, especially in my community, black community. That, we all have God in us, but then we don't display the God.
Oh. Right.
You know, and you should let it always be on display.
Right.
You know, and that's my thing is just be a better me. You know,
Right.
don't don't let somebody pull. We all have that inside. We all have that other side inside of us.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very easy that side sits. You know, closer to the surface than we realize.
Right.
It's like when you I learned something a long time ago. Like when you boil, when you're boiling a lot of foods, and you always see a layer of stuff that rises to the top.
Right.
That's the junk that's being pulled out of the food,
Mm.
and it sits right on top. Whether it's the grease or the, the bad things
Hmm.
in it, the dirt.
Right.
It always rises to the top, and a lot of times when you're cooking, that's why you gotta scrape it off. Throw it away.
Right.
And that's I take that as life.
Right.
That bad stuff is always sitting on the surface.
Right. Because we're inherently evil.
So it's always sitting right there on the
Yeah.
surface.
It's easy to be negative. It's harder to be. We're naturally negative people, so
Right.
we have to work to be positive.
Right, because that's sitting right on the surface.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Always right there. And you have to every day make the effort to scrape it off.
Right. Yeah.
Throw it away.
Yeah.
It takes it.
So you gotta die to yourself.
Right. Right.
Yep.
So you don't want to take that into your body.
No. No.
That's the stuff that will, if you let it sit there, it ruins the food.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Ruins what you're cooking.
Yeah.
Makes it unhealthy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Turn the pot off, it sinks back down. It's back inside of you. It's deeper inside of you, and it's harder to get out now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And now we're sitting here, poisoning ourselves. That's
Yeah. And then the last question: what is your number one goal in life and why?
my number one goal. My number one goal is to be an example.
Mm-hmm.
Be an example of what Christ can do. To walk in a way
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Mm-hmm.
In business and sports and personal life. To walk in a way that exemplifies the Lord, and people can see. And I've had people ask me like, why are you so positive? And I'm like, well, that's the Lord. That's having the Lord.
Yeah.
I remember at a time, me and my wife at the time, we were girlfriend and boyfriend, and we were arguing about something. And she said, "So you're just going to be miserable?" And I looked at her and I said, "Babe, I love you, but you don't you don't control my misery or my joy.
Right.
That comes from above.
Right.
That doesn't come from you. I said you can contribute to my happiness or my sadness. You can contribute, and that's fleeting.
Mm.
But you don't control my joy.
Mm.
So that's my goal, is to make sure I can exemplify what God has done and who the Lord is.
Mm.
Who Jesus is and what He is.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that's part of our prayer. My prayer every time that's my food is that Lord, as I take this food in, as I take this in, may I be letting go of me.
Mm.
You know, because this food is a blessing from you. I do it because I know it is a blessing. It's a blessing to have another chance to have a conversation. To meet somebody new,
Mm.
and to show them,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is the Lord.
Right.
This isn't
Right.
us. This isn't me. It's not you. This is the Lord.
Right.
And that's my goal.
Mm.
That's my goal. Is to live a life that that prayerfully, I go upstairs and they say, "Hey, well done, Andrew.
Mm.
Well done."
A good and faithful servant. Yeah.
Yes.
We want to hear those words at the end of our lives.
Yes.
Well done, good, and welcome into the rest
Yes.
that I have for you. And so, yeah.
I want to share something. Like I was, I've been very blessed.
Mm-hmm.
As a child, as a baby, and an infant, I used to have seizures, especially in driving. They used to give me medication to control the seizures.
Okay.
And I was about 2 years old, and I knew what my medication was. And I got into it one day, and I took them home.
Oh my gosh.
I took them home, and I died. And was back in Jamaica. I was going to Jamaica, and there, it's not like here where hospitals are, urgent cares and everything are 5 minutes away. One of my neighbors just happened to come in and saw me on the floor, and he rushed me to the hospital, and they were able to pump my stomach, revive me, pump my stomach, and I never had another seizure again.
Wow.
Never had another seizure again. And then another time, and I remember this so clearly, that I was 7. I got hit by a car, and that's my second time dying, being pronounced dead. And I just remember at that time just seeing just a glow, just white. Felt like I was forever. Like time had passed forever. And I just remember hearing a voice that you got to go home. You got to go back. Actually, not home, but you have to go back. And I woke up 4 days later in the hospital. And they had me in the bubble. In the bubble, because I was so, the car hit me, and I was so damaged and everything. And it was, that. So I look back at it, and I think that's God was preparing me then, because at 7 years old, I had to go through all kinds of therapy, all kinds of physical therapy. I had to eat baby food. I couldn't digest regular food because insides were so messed up and torn up. And I had to learn how to walk again, and had to go through intensive I was in a full body cast from my armpits all the way down to my ankles, and and God was preparing me. I was giving me tools because through that period of just going through therapy and exercise and having to exercise for so long and so hard and so intensive and crying and not wanting to do it, and that's what made me a better athlete, which then set the stage for everything else. It's like God was preparing me then, and seeing death and looking back on it, it's like knowing the peace that comes from death. Because as a child, you don't know, but that peace and like now, although I did so many things, but knowing now that there was a plan, God said you have to go back. And do I know the plan? No. But the plan was here. And so I have no choice but to praise him. Praise him. I don't share that story often because a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
That. But yes, I 2 times in my life that I died, and both times it was for my good. Simply for my good. From never having to deal with seizures again. And go back to Romans 8:28. All things work for good. So that helped me, and I never had a seizure, and then to become a athlete and to have sports have such an impact in my life, to where now I can impact others. And that's that all things. You'll think getting hit by a car is a bad thing. But look how it changed my life. And it's just gotta give praise. God, I say every day, God makes no mistakes. We do.
Yeah.
Because we don't pay attention to what's right in front of us. Take that time and listen.
Yeah. That's wow. Powerful. Is there anything else you'd like to say, or you said a lot. It was good, all good stuff. But
I just like to say, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity to share.
Yeah.
I look forward to having more conversations.
Okay.
And hopefully I can bring some others in here and share their stories and however I can serve and be a benefit to you as a brother, and anybody else. I'm here. And anybody out there that's listening, just understand that God got you.
Yeah.
God got you. Military said, I got your six. Well, God got you all the way around.
Yeah, he's got you
He's
front, back,
all the
all
way around.
around.
All the way around. And don't look back on things in a negative light, because those things were done for your benefit. You just have to find and ask God what the benefit was, and He'll answer. He always answers. Always. We don't always listen. That's it. Just listen. 'Cause the answer's always there.
Well, thank you, Coach Andrew, and thank you for listening today. And make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed, and join Something Spiritual Sports. And see you in the next one. All right.
Make sure it's Something Spiritual Sports.
Yeah.